Okay, so 6:50 on Monday the 12th. I might call the vet again today. I think I'm gonna call the vet and see, and tell her, after we did that there still seems to be a problem down there. I may take Stella back in and see. And I can't figure out what the hell is going on with Max because he still is so thirsty all the time. And he gets this foaming. He leaves all this foaming when he's eating. He gets all this. Oh my God, he's become so messy. Oh my God. At least the other day he was cleaning up his own mess. It's like, but still, is a mess. There's like splatter on the door I gotta clean. There's and then every time he drinks any water, he just turns it and he'll drink for like, I swear to God, like 5 minutes he's drinking. And then he'll just leave this foam on everything. Because even when he starts drinking, his mouth gets all foamy. So I don't know what the hell. I'm had to take him back, but all his labs were good. So I don't know. I'll probably have to take him back too. Um, but Archie's thing is all healed really well. And he still is standing up to Ruthie, but I'm just being on top of it. I'm not letting them play and stuff like that because it gets too rowdy too quick. And she just wants to play all the time. And yesterday I went and worked with her some more and it was really working on down. But then as soon as she gets excited, she's just jumping all over me. She is just the wildest thing. And she's so heavy and she just doesn't even know. She runs Stella off all the time. Stella goes and tries to lay on the, and Ruthie has to be laying on somebody all the time. And she loves Stella. And Stella can be kind of mean to her. And I don't know if it's because Stella's putting her in her place or I think it's more of like, showing her, you're not the boss here. And but a lot of times because she'll try and like creep past Stella and then Stella will jump up, roar. And then this morning they did that in the other room. And as soon as she jumped up and went, roar, that Ruthie, yeah, she cried. She goes, oh. I was like, girl, you do this to that little ones all the time. You're constantly pouncing them and stuff. Stella doesn't even pounce them. All she does is go roar and stand up. And but it scares her. And but Stella is so gentle. She's just the most gentle, sweetest thing. And I just really want to get to these med beds. I don't want her to leave me. God, I've been working on this for so long. Ever since she got sick. And like when like some of you guys were here for that ride. But the can you remember how it went down? It seems like I got up in the morning. I think, she cries a lot. Um, she wants me to fix everything. And so she whines at me to fix it. It's like I'm constantly, I can't do, you have to do something. I can't do it. I can't pick you up and move you. You have to do it. And, but it was something that morning. Maybe she was crying and I don't know. I just know that she couldn't get up. She couldn't get up. But there was also one thing is that I had wood floors. I didn't have any rugs. And now I know, like, for a dog that has got weak joints and hips and back and stuff like that, you gotta have rugs. They gotta have something to push up on to have traction. But but on top of that, she was real dizzy. And on top of that, she had a drooping face, which is still is never gone back. And so, and, she could have a slow growing thing, but I do everything to cleanse that stuff and heal that stuff. Like I'm giving her everything possible that I hear about, which one of my daughters is super sick. She gets sick all the fucking time, but she works way too hard. There's a lot of things. So, she's super sick again. And, yesterday I asked her how she was feeling and she said, horrible. I feel like I've got infection in my lungs. I can taste it. And I said, well, you got to get some, those things that I talk about, that I gave the dogs, that I gave Archie, and his stuff is healed. And I've been taking it too. I don't remember why. It was something. Maybe it was this thing. Ooh, right now it's pretty flat, but it's still there. What was it? I don't know. For some reason, I was taking it. Maybe it's the allergy. I don't know. But anyways, so those little things. And she said, that's funny that you say that because so-and-so's mom also said that. And I said, yeah, because it's a big thing in the holistic community. Like, that is something that there's all sorts of MDs that are pushing that and saying, here, take this, take this. So anyways, I said, try it. And you don't have any side. It won't give you UTI. It won't give you yeast, nothing. It will, and I told her how to take it and stuff. So anyways, and that's the handy thing too. We have Amazon right there in your neighborhood. Then she was getting it yesterday afternoon. And so hopefully she's already got started. And I was telling her to drink Mullen tea. And she was like, I hate that taste. And I was like, so what? It's going to make you better. And she said she's drinking some other tea, Breathe Right or something tea. I don't know. I said, well, I would imagine it probably has some of that in it. I said, go, look at your ingredients because you need herbs. So anyways, we'll we'll see with I feel like I need to take her in and just see, but I feel like I don't know, because it seems like something's going on down at the vaginal area or about her urethra or something. So, but her urine seems fine and stuff, and I've got those wipes, and I keep trying to wipe and make sure, that she's not getting something, stuck in there, bacterial, I don't know. But anyways, I probably will have to take her back in and see what's up. And then I probably should take Max back in and see what's up. But anyways, it's just like, God dang, everything just adds up, adds up, adds up. It's like, this is an expensive world, man. Which, speaking of expenses, so all this whole time I thought that YouTube asks you, like, that once you reach these certain goals, that they say, hey, you've reached these goals, like it was more of an automatic thing. Well, Crystal the other day said, well, have you kind of like put in your application? Have you clicked on that button and say that you want that? And there's a little button that says earn, and then you click on it, and then it pulls up this page that you have to go through this process, like an application process. And so I did that, and I didn't know I had to do that because I knew I was far beyond the requirements of what it was that they required for you to be monetized. And so I did all this stuff, and then I was under where they were evaluating my videos or something. They were deciding, and it took almost 2 days, but I got the notification this morning that I was accepted. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited because this is my 6th year. And so anyways, now I got accepted into their partner program or whatever. And so I don't know, you guys may know more about that. You guys might watch a lot of different ones that have monetized, but it has something to do with all, like, there's more things, like there's little icons or something you can send. There's little well, you get approached by other places. I was already approached by places asking me to partner and sell their stuff, but it's like, I mean, if there was like, vitamin company or something, and I tried theirs and I was like, oh, theirs work good, I would, but I'm not going to just, push certain stuff that I don't know about, and I don't have a hot tub. I don't have, like, there's different things. It's like, I don't even have that. So, anyways, I guess, well, are you going to give me a hot tub? So but there may be, I don't know if there's going to be a commercial. I don't know what's going to be on your end, but if you see any changes or anything, it's because I got accepted into their program. So I feel super excited about it. I feel like it's, I don't know, like you're working towards something for a long time and you finally reach a goal. It's like, oh my gosh, I reached a goal. It's like, it feels so exciting. So I don't know. It might make commercials pop up on your thing, but you know, I mean, I oh yeah, and there is things too. Like I could start uh groups or something, like uh I don't know, like people can, like I could join, like I have my private group or something, and everybody pay to join or something. I don't know. For now, you know, unless everybody was all of a sudden saying they want to do that, I don't know. But for now, we'll just see what happens next. And if commercials drive you crazy like me, I did the go commercial free on here a couple years ago. I pay each month to have no commercials because well, this is for one thing the only channel that I have Prime, but I have the Amazon so that I have the benefits of free shipping, because when you live rural and you run out of something, it's handy when you don't have to get in your car, go get it. So I have a lot of things delivered that a lot of people just run up the street and get it at the market. So I use the free shipping. So I have Prime for that, but I don't really watch it very often. And mostly I'm just always on YouTube. And all the different channels charge you. They all charge you to have, even Prime now. If you want to go commercial free, like before when we were paying for it on Amazon, then it was automatically commercial free. But now they've changed it. Now you have to pay for having it, and then you have to pay for going commercial free. But they also did that on Hulu. When I started on Hulu, it was like $3.99 a month. And then all of a sudden it went up. I think it was like $9.99 a month. I think it was the same like with Netflix, because it used to be, you know, you would get the video, they would send videos to your mail, and you would watch your videos and send them back, and it was like this thing, and it was like $7.99 a month, and it kind of it ran out all of the business on like Blockbuster and stuff, because they made it so cheap. Like you could pay $7.99 a month and get as many videos as you want, and you just send them back and forth, back and forth. And so I kind of screwed over Blockbuster, and what was the other one? There was, you know, when we used to go to video stores. So then Netflix knocked them out of business. And then they switched, and then it was like, oh, well, we're just going to put the movies on. You can watch them right here. But see, you don't get to pick now. It used to be you could pick movies and stuff. Now it's like, well, is it available there? So, and then their price has gone way up. So they kind of like did a business practice to kind of run another one out, and then all, like, you just, that's like the big ones. But think about all of the mom and pop ones. There was lots of people who had like little video stores, and they ran them all out of business. And then Hulu came along, and it became a competitor to the new Netflix, and it was super cheap. And then they kept driving up the price. I think it's like $40 now, and you have to pay to have no commercials. So anyways, on YouTube, it's $18.99. You don't have to pay to have YouTube, but you have to pay to have no commercials. And so I do, because it's like I don't have all the other ones. I'm not paying for all that. I pay for my Starlink, and I pay for my music. I pay Spotify and Apple Music, and I pay YouTube, and then iCloud, and what's the other thing? Seems like I have one other thing. Oh, Amazon. And but you know, I mean, some people, they have so many of those things. Like some people have Netflix, Disney, freaking Paramount, like Peacock, HBO. Like each one is so funny too, because at first, you know, that when they had it all lumped into cable, you just got cable, and then that would have all these channels. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, we've got premium channels now. If you want Stars, if you want HBO, there's a couple more, Cinemax. There's another one that starts with an S. If you want those, you have to pay extra. And so then they would run specials and stuff, and you could get, but then cable kept going up. I swear to God, when cable first started, it was like $20 a month. And then it started going up like, fuck, I can believe when people are paying like 150 a month, man. I think I was one of them for a while. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell am I doing? This is a lot of money. I could be doing other things. And you start like taking things off. But then, so lots of that was like a wave, and lots of people started doing that. So then they started isolating them. Oh, well, you can just buy Paramount. Oh, you can just buy this. You can just buy that. But I think you start adding on all your channels, and then all of a sudden you're right back up there. Maybe even probably more, because I think HBO, Apple, like there's so many. So, anyways, it's up to you. You know what you pay for and what you desire to be entertained by and how much you're willing to pay for it. But anyways, on here, if there may start being commercials, I'm not sure, because I don't pay to have commercials anyways. But I don't know on all of the different ones what the deal is, because even if I'm watching somebody who's monetized and they have commercials, I wouldn't have the commercials. So anyways, and I don't even know how that works. You know, I don't know if the people have to have the commercials. And because I've seen a couple of people talking about that it goes by views. So how many views you get, it depends on how much money that you get on stuff. So, and on some of my shorts, which are just like, I don't know, sometimes it's just like the dogs, and a lot of it is showing the sky, the sunsets and the sunrises, because they're so colorful. And so, or the river. So a lot of them is just like showing the area. And some of them get a lot of views. And it's really weird though, how some, you know, you get like 8, and then another one you get like 2,000. And so I don't know. I still feel like there's some weird stuff on how videos are like put into the line. And but on TikTok, that is even a whole nother level, because then I started looking on there, because we are going to do live. And so we're going to do it, I think we're going to try Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And we're going to go live around 2 p.m. Central Time. I think it is what we've decided. And so my time is Mountain, so that's 1. So Pacific Time would be 12, and I think Eastern Time would be 3. And so we're going to go live, and you know, just like, and it's going to be mostly, you know, like what people want to chat or ask questions or just talk. So it's not like it's not like well, you know, I'm probably talk about stuff that's going on. And then, but mostly, you know, I want to talk about like spiritual stuff, alien stuff, current events. Because current events, people get so caught up in all of the drama and stuff. And I think people got to, you know, see it from other perspectives. And now they've got another one that they're bringing out that's big and hot. And it's like, oh my God. And it's a new whistleblower. And they are, of course, the Don. He's the Don of all crime. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. They make it such a huge thing. And it's like, if you knew the other side, I mean, he was an in, you know, form, and then an and. And so he was a part of the takedown of certain people. And he's doing it currently. So it's like, okay, so you guys think he is the one who did all these things. Like he, just as some fella, was able to rally all of these people, all of these, and then get them to do all of these things, which are all things that we know of go on that are bad, really bad. Like Kitty, SNIF, what is it? No, SNUFF, you know, that kind of situation films. And it's so crazy too how, I mean, there's people who it's not just someone's making it, they're making it because they can sell it. That's where, you know, we really gotta be like, and it's not just being sold to rich people. I mean, we got some all sorts of people. So the look this, it just popped into my head because I saw this girl the other day. She was being interviewed on a podcast, and she was talking about how much money she's making. And she said like in 2025 or something, she made like $12 million or something. And the whole thing is, where do you think she's making it? Off of the OF. And but the thing is how is she making it? All these husbands and dads and stuff. And she had just turned 18 or something. And so, I mean, that just shows how sick our world is. Which, another thing too, I found interesting, because I do believe in this, this body of information, this universal web of information, like where I say, like, you tap into communication, but the communication is going on all around you. You just don't realize it. And so once you start paying attention to it, then you have to acknowledge it's not just you coming up with all this brilliance, but then it takes life to the next another. It's like leveling up in the video game. And then so this girl, this woman, she built a Faraday room in her house. And so she said that it's all, sealed shut, nothing can penetrate. And so she was in there, and she said that she was feeling, real zen, I guess. And she was having these different people coming into her mind from the past. She was thinking about them, and she was like reevaluating things, and it was really, she was having this whole experience. And then she went to go out the door into the other part of her house, which is not sealed and shut, delivered. It is open. And so she said, as soon as she walked in to out the door, she heard PORN super loud in her mind. And she was like, what? What? And so she wanted to remind people also that there is a circuit of a frequency of information that is coming in, and it feeds into these like desires or something. Like, there's people who are looking for something, and then they get these things that come into their mind, and then they get all caught up in it. And so you got to really watch out, man, because it's the battle for your soul, dude. It's the battle for your soul. And so you got to watch out, because they will suck you in to something that will trap you. And so people get trapped by their own desires. It turns fetish. They become consumed. So it's just like a drug. And so it's like, well, are you going to start doing drugs? Or so that's how you got to look at all this other stuff. It's the same thing. It will pull you in. It will suck you in. And then it will never be enough. You'll always have to go to another level, which I just saw a guy saying, and it seems that he was a cook, some kind of chef or something. And I didn't watch all his videos. He said he had done a whole 10-minute video talking about it, and he said that it crashed. And so then he was doing another one, and he was trying to really speak code-like. And he said, so underneath some restaurant, which I would say, I don't know if underneath everyone, like Chili's is pretty corporate. And so there's a lot of restaurants that we go to that are corporate. And so, yeah, there's another one that's just coming into my mind too. I don't remember where that's coming from, but it goes with this one. So he said that he was down in there. So there's a world underneath the world, which we already know about that. And so there's the world here where everybody's going, but then there's the darker space underneath, where it's more certain passport to get you in, you know, a certain pass. And so you go in there, and then you're serving and cooking things that you can imagine, because it's not up there on the menu. So it's much more uh, with the niche, and much more, uh, you know, like it has stuff to do with like, here, you want all this, and also lots of gross stuff. And he said they force you to, you know, cook down there, and then uh, and it's kind of like if you ever watched Hostel, and there's 3 of them, but it shows the truth. Those things are like documentaries, but the thing is you have a viewership, which I've talked about. The coin that's a bit is used. That's what it was used for, you know, some these things that are dark. And so these people are a lot of voyeurism, and they, you know, pay, you know, it's not just a quarter slot machine either. It's like they pay, and then they want to say, you know, like, well, have them do this, have them do that, do a little of this and do a little of that. I'm paying for it. This is my game. And so they will do that. And in the one thing, it has to do with rooms that are red for a reason. And another, it shows in that movie trilogy thing that I'm talking about. But in this situation, it was, which is also what is also going on in the DUBAI, is that is a big lure. Get all these pretty Instagram influencers and stuff like that, fly them over to get them to do an ad in this place, but really it's a party for rich old guys. And what they like to do is a lot of violence. And that one model that got filmed, which makes you even think, is, you know, is she a FF in order to bring light to a situation, so that we all of a sudden know, like, oh my God, this is what they're doing, knocking all your teeth out, breaking all your bones, making you eat poop, pooping on you, peeing on you, all is like real violent. And so, and then I saw another girl who had said that that's what they do there. And then a lot of the girls are just like, just go with it. You know, you get paid for it. It's like, what? Like, have some value yourself, man. Money isn't everything, dude. And so but so then they get paid handsomely by these rich old fucks to let them humiliate and hurt them. And so so it kind of is like the under restaurant is the same kind of situation, you know, you have to eat that, you have to do this, you have to do that. So, and this guy's very traumatized by it. And so he's like, I can't even cook anymore. He's like, it's horrific. And he's trying to let people know what's going on. And so it was the first video I've ever seen his, and it was, but the thing is when you know this stuff is going, it's like, it's not a stretch when somebody's talking about what's happening. And then, but the other one that I was going to say was, there was something I had just seen too about travel underneath, and somebody talking about that. But see, I think that we're going to get more privy to that situation, but I can't remember what that one was about, but it seemed like it was something like that. But there's always, you can find a lot of people talking about the world underneath the world, and there's a whole world going underneath the world, and it's definitely dark. And which, by the way, too, I just saw a video of, and I think it's Japan, that their scientists just figured it out, and they figured out how to grow teeth back. I told you guys this was coming. I thought it was going to be the med beds, but I've told so many people, and they're like, oh, the teeth don't grow back. It's like, I'm telling you. I mean, but so many people are so stuck on the flesh and blood and limitation And so they figured out how to make them grow back. They're going to start releasing it in September or something. And supposedly they're going to start out with older men and see if they can grow those back. And then they're going to supposedly with kids there, but they've already in all of their studies, everything has been growing its teeth back. And and then they're going to, babies who have like uh, what are those called? I have different ones coming into my mind, but that have problems with their teeth. Like their teeth aren't growing right, like they've got issues. And so they're going to start doing that and seeing how they grow. And so anyways, but this big step in the right direction for us is coming to the surface, because yeah, so many people have lost their teeth through poor nutrition, which is, a battle in this world. And and then drugs have also destroyed them. And even, the stuff some stuff in, stuff we drink. So there's a whole bunch of things that have wrecked people's teeth. And so lots of people have lost them. And I mean, there's lots of young people with dentures. And anyways, I thought that was really good news for a lot of people, that's going to be able to, because my teeth right over here where that dentist broke them, and this one I'm still struggling with, is, it's really been sore, kind of lately. But when I feel it with my tongue, it's very smooth inside. So only rough places like right here, but it's kind of sensitive. But anyways, I've been, battling this for a freaking year. I'd be glad to have whatever it is that they have that just grows it. I don't know how much longer it takes to grow them, or to even fix one to grow it back. But there's 3 that this dentist broke over here. It's one thing that I have been like, well, there's going to be technology that start growing teeth back, so I'll be glad of that. So anyways, I was really excited about that one. And what was this one? There's tons and tons of people who are sure that we are about to go into WW3, and they're all freaking. In the dawn, he's taking his doll down and he's destroying and stuff. It's so a breath of fresh air when you see some random person start talking about that. The stuff that's going on when you look at it from a perspective of NESARA, and because that's how I look at it. And it is like very much about, trusting the PLN. And so the person, but there's a whole bunch of people who think very opposite. Oh, there's all sorts of people who are just all on top of this new discovery, this person. And their first name is Sasha. So that when you hear, about this whole big blowing of this big whistle, it's all, oh, the Dawn is the one in charge. Anyways, it got that whole thing going. And then them all thinking that, that he's just going and taking over places. It's like, no, he's taking the bad guys out of the places. And all the big stuff going on in the IRAN and the IRAQ. And so that's really exciting what they've got going, is they are getting rid of a regime that has been who's been controlling them since 1979. That was the year I graduated. And when you look at the pictures in the 70s before, they were very much like Miami. And the women were like beautiful, wearing like they dressed totally different, like it was a totally different place. And then this religious sect of control came in and took over. And then, if you don't mind the rules, you're a goner. So they took over and put everybody in these closed and started restricting them and controlling them. And so now the people are being set free. And so it's a big thing going on over there. And it also in the place that guy just got taken from, they are also celebrating in the streets and stuff because they have been under a tater for a while. So there's all those things are. See, when people are watching this go down and they have an awareness of the NASARA and the GESARA, then they are seeing if more with clarity of like, oh, this has to happen, and then also about people going back to their place, because I had said before, when they start distributing that, I think that you have to, when they divided all of the GOLD, that they had to, it was based on, you've got this many people, you've got this many people, you got this many people, so we'll give you all this. But then it's like, well, a lot of our people aren't here. So it's like, okay, well, we'll start sending your people back. And so I don't know, but it seems like that is part of it, That's why they're trying to bring a lot of people home. There's people who think like now he's going down because he said he's going to take on the CARTL, taking them down. And that there's all these people who think that he's about to BOMB, Mexico. They're just going to blow it. And it's like, you guys, no, he's trying to rescue. This is a rescue mission. This is trying to help us get out from under the thumb of this corruption, man. But the people who are on the other side cannot see it. It's the craziest thing. And so, but I was thinking this morning, like when it is revealed, when the truth is there, what a shocker, that will be so much like what it is like to be seen through one perspective and then have your perspective flip. And it's like this all of a sudden, like, what? Because I think we've all experienced that kind of thing on smaller levels where you thought something and then all of a sudden you find out you thought totally wrong. And so I think it's going to be quite a wave of energy that is going to be when these people all of a sudden see that this is no. And I saw this morning too. And so this girl, she said she was trying to communicate with the Atlas. And so she said that it came in and said something about Greek mythology. And she's like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to communicate with the Atlas. I don't know who the fuck you are, but I'm trying to communicate with that. And this being starts saying, well, that's who we are. We are consciousness. And the Atlas is what they name all of, because it's how they look to see is through like an Atlas telescope or something. Then whatever they're looking to look at these comments that's where they get that name. And and there's like 30 of them that carry that name with different numbers. And so she was like, so she went and looked it up and she's like, that was right. And so, so she started talking to this being, this consciousness. And so what he said, which this seems accurate to me, this seems real. So he said, and some of it is like, it's, I can't explain it fully because, so it was something about he was a Greek god or something. So he's way back. And then he, there's always these like the battle between the light and the dark. And so it was like kind of like the dark was winning over consciousness. And so he went out to hold the information or something. That's the part where I don't know. I mean, I'd have to really listen to it again and try and really get that apart. And I can share this video. I'll share it in the comments. So she said that so he has been, this consciousness has been out there for a long time. And so he was talking about the different kinds of comets. And so the ones from Jupiter are to bring in the concept of us reliving the patterns, because they come really frequently and they just do the same thing over and over. And that's to reflect back to us that we repeat patterns. But these other ones, so he said that he was giving certain time things. So they are something about time, these big ones, in that they bring in waves of communication to break things down and break things apart. And when they fracture apart, it is in micro macro, we fracture apart. We start becoming apart. Like even in our own selves, we kind of fall apart, but our storylines start to fall apart and stuff. So those are two in the timeline is the idea of these things are supposed to happen. And so it comes in like a wave of energy, and it brings in this energy of change, and we're in this period of time of this big change right now. So that's what these have been coming in to break apart how we see things and what we look at things. And that is one thing about that is that was getting people to really start looking at like things differently. But it also did bring a wave of energy of destruction in our society, because it aligns with it. And so that so we have all of that. And see, he explained it somehow too with oh man, but he said that if it gets us to look at things different, it gets us to see things and brings in this energy, it causes things to fracture and fall apart. But he said that in 2026 that something big was going to happen. And which, you know, like I've said, we're right on the edge. And he said the way she was just writing down what he told her. And so what he said, something big in 2026 is going to happen. I'm pretty sure he said it's going to be something that's outside of us that's going to change us. And it may be something in the sky, but I mean, for all of us sky watchers, we know like there's crazy shit going on in the sky. The sky is crazy, even though there's a lot of people that don't see it, it's crazy. And so, but there it can be anything, but it's going to be something is going to, I think that we all know something big is coming, something big is going to happen, but it is for us to change. And he talked also about the 2 points of perspective, the A and the B. So the A is the timeline of positive, like one I talk about all the time. And then the other is the one that we're watching as it's playing out. But this significant event is going to open people's eyes and wake them up, I think, so that they can pick a better timeline, so that they aren't on this other one. And so so it helps to motivate them. But there's a lot of cleansing of your soul that has to go on too. So it's not just like, oh, I pick a new timeline, I pick to go that way. It's like, yeah, but you have to do the work to get yourself on that path. It's like, yeah, you can see it, but then start going on the path and see what happens. It's like you become obstacles, and the obstacles are you. It's like you have to learn about you on this path, and you have to cleanse yourself. You have to relieve yourself of your tension and your anger, your hate, your all the things of from the negative timeline. So it's not just a simple thing. But I think that there is a lot of people who have still been focused on the negative, who have gone through a lot of stuff to be cleansing themselves of other situations in their life. And because even though it's not end game, this cutting people off, what is this called? There's a term for it. No contact. All these people going no contact. It is still a sense in going in the right direction of choosing you and putting up a boundary, even though it's sloppy because you cut yourself off from more lessons, of giving yourself opportunity to construct your boundaries, to create your boundaries, to really formulate, this is me and that's you. This is not me, that's you. And so it is, but it's a step in the right direction to say, hey, I have more worth, and if you don't see my worth, I can't be around you. And so a lot of people in this realm of identity did make choices like that. Were making choices to begin, like they were being like, why am I working? Where, all sorts of things have been going on. So there is a lot of people who have been doing the work on themselves, so they will like be catapulted more towards a positive timeline once they come into the recognition of the the definition of the defining factors in like the lies and what they missed because they're busy focusing on the lies. They're not seeing what's really happening. So that whole thing of like that awakening yourself and seeing what you're missing and having to understand through thinking for yourself of like, why, how was I missing this, why wasn't I seeing it? Because it all comes down to biases and the hate that you carry inside of yourself and not trusting and stuff, and those are things that they have to work through. So there will be a lot of people who are really going on the healing journey when this catapults. Which I saw this one girl was talking, a tarot girl, and she said people who were struggling in 2025 will, in 2026 it will flip and things will start going good, and people who were just like mindlessly going through, just out there enjoying things, are going to all of a sudden, when it flips, then they're going to be in that sense of struggle, like, oh my God. So it was kind of like, it always reminds me of the Three Little Pigs, because there was so many people who were just like, yeah, I'm just going to go out and have some fun and enjoy things and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but there's all these things happening in the world. And, we got to go deeper. We got to look deeper at this stuff. We got to try and figure this stuff out. But it's like, no, I'm just going to go out and have some drinks with my friends and party. You bunch of weirdo doomsdayers, you stay over there and keep your mouth shut. We're enjoying life. Life's too short. So then they're going to get the other side of that, where all of us were like winding it in and like, so there's going to be a more positive, where things will start like, oh, good things are starting to happen now, because we were really focused on the energy of change, of of really bringing it home and figuring out like what is it that we need to do, and paying attention to things in a different way. So that is very much to me like the Three Little Pigs story. So, yeah, and you do want to be a shelter for others. You don't want to go revert into ego-driven, judgmental, hateful, and, well, you brought it on yourself. Too bad. You should have listened to me. That is not what you want to be doing. That is just going to bring you back into a negative timeline yourself. You want to just be a shoulder for people and be like understanding. Yeah. I mean, it was a rough thing, I mean, they've been manipulating people's minds for a long time, and you're going to be okay. And just be positive for people, just be positive and help people build themselves up, by just saying, you did fine, you're okay. We've all gone through it. We all had to wake up in this fucking nightmare. Like, we all had to go through stuff. And even the people who made fun of you and stuff, you just gotta let it go, man. Because otherwise you're pulling yourself back down where you don't want to be, and in your ego and stuff. But if you do, if you do get yourself pulled back down, because you still have things to work on, so work on them. Don't, just work on what you got to work on. This is the time. So, and I definitely feel like things are so close, like, no telling, what is going to be, what's to come. I think that there's going to be, definitely there's going to be a lot of new relationships, and they're going to be It's kind of funny because it's going to seem like new relationships, but it's really old souls coming back together. And so it's kind of like this changeover. It's going to go from this phony kind of searching for love into what true love really is. And then I think a lot of people are going to start wanting to, find their match. How do I find, who I've been searching for my entire life? And it's like, well, first thing is you got to learn how to love yourself. You got to learn how to take care of yourself. You got to learn your own value. And so it's going to be a big wave of change in people's love lives. And so many people now, I mean, I was talking about the dating thing falling apart a long time ago, but now it's like so many people are like, this whole dating thing's falling apart. People are starting to see it's much more better to just be alone and work on yourself, which is, because that's where it's got to start. You got to you can't be figuring yourself out when you got everybody's noise in your ear telling you who you are. So when you go into this space of isolation and spending time with yourself, not on the weekends, going out to the bar and see if you can pick somebody up, but going to sit at home, and I don't think there's anything wrong with watching a movie because my algorithm speaks to me. It brings me information, which yesterday I got another one, time travel one, and it was really good. It was another one. I love time travel movies. And this was another one that was one I'd never heard of or anything. And this one was so this guy, he was this handsome guy who just worked hard, and he had been poor in his life, so he just saved his money. He didn't just spend it. He lived more frugal, and he saved, and he didn't live the life like a rich bachelor handsome guy. I mean, he didn't just go home with girls just because he could. He would be like, no, there's nothing there. So but then he meets this girl at work, and he really falls for her. And so he professes his love to her at some point, and she's like, oh, well, I'm engaged to somebody who I love. Like, and this guy is like, but I love you. Like, and he's really into science. And so he's always got the science channel on. And so he's been seeing about time travel and about this this certain professor at this certain university, the science university or something. So he wants to go and talk to him. Well, that guy had a situation in the lab, and it blew. And so he lost his career and everything, and became a laughing stock in the science community. So he's off living in Arizona in isolation. So this guy goes and tracks him down, goes to him and says, can I time travel? I want to time travel. I want to go. And at first he doesn't tell him, but it's like, I want to go back and be the person this girl meets. I want to be there first before the guy that she's engaged to meets her. And the guy's like, that's no reason to go back in time and stuff. But anyways, but he has all this money saved, and so they start doing all of this stuff, and they come up with it. And so he goes and he time travels, and he goes back in time. And the guy, the professor, gives him a letter and says, take this to me. And you're going to get there, I think, at the day that I'm going to blow the lab up. So take this because it destroyed my life. It ruined my life. It ruined my everything. And he said, take this to me to stop me. And so he does do that. And he takes the letter to the guy and changes that guy's life. He goes on to a different timeline, but it's only the beginning. Because the timeline, if destruction is meant to be a part of your experience, then you will go into that destruction, because everything that destructs is for you to pick yourself up, or some things fall apart because something better is coming. And so, but in this part, he had saved that guy from destroying that lab, and saved his reputation. And he goes to meet this girl, and it's just a fumble, man. It just does not work at all. And So he's just like super disappointed. But when he was working at the lab with this guy, he went to some little, because he's in a small town in Arizona. He just goes up to this little local bar. And the bartender who's working there, who looks very similar to the girl he's fallen for, they're sitting there bonding and chit-chatting and talking about, like where life has taken them and what they wish they would have done different and stuff like that. And so he goes to meet the one girl, and she just like shoots him down. It was just like, and so he's like, this is not working the way I thought it was going to work. And but he has to run to leave to go take this lab letter. And when he's getting in the car to drive off, he sees the other guy go sit down, and she's all chatty with him. So what's meant to be is meant to be. And so then I guess it came into his mind of what that girl had said, that she wished that she would have done this different. And so and when he first popped out from the time travel, he ran into her again. Only she didn't know who he was at this point because she hadn't met him yet. And so we knew where she was. And so he goes back to where she was, and he makes the offer that she wished that she would have had. It's going to make me cry. And so he made the offer to her of what she wished would have happened 5 years prior. And so it was really cute. It was definitely really cute, romantic little thing. But again, to me, there's always this, like, you can't change what's meant to be is meant to be. And so he couldn't go and change that girl's life and make her fall in love with him first if she's meant to live her life with that person. But the people in the beginning of your experience, when you think about love and stuff like that, is they're there to teach you. Because I definitely was with soulmates. I was definitely with soulmates. And but they were there to teach me the bigger lesson is my value to me, that I have to value me. I have to love myself. And when you're being taught those lessons by other people and you're in victim mentality, you're not growing from them. You're being consumed by it. And it will eat you up and spit you out. And once I was eaten up and spit out, that's when I could see, like, oh, I'm doing this to myself. These are my patterns. I'm making these choices. I'm doing this. And that's when you can really get your shit together and start healing and really going towards this new path. And in the new path, though, you will run across obstacles that are there to teach you the things that you need to learn about yourself and about the things that you need to let go of, that you hold on to about yourself, and stories and shame and guilt. And so it's a journey, you know. And so, but we're going to have a lot of people on that journey soon, and some will be motivated because of, everybody wants to experience true love, and the true love is going to come from deep connections in the soul. It's not going to just be this superficial, artificial thing. It's deep connections. And so, and everybody's going to want that. Everybody's going to be like, I want to be connected like that. I want to feel that experience because it's in us, That's what we are. And one of the things when I very first started this whole thing that I kept being shown was this beautiful teapot. And then they showed me the beautiful teapot fall to the ground, and it broke into a million pieces. And we were all the pieces, and we all feel broken. And we don't recognize who and what we are until we all come back together. And then we become the completion of something beautiful. And so right now in the world, we have a whole bunch of broken pieces. But that's where, all of these events that are happening are to help bring us together, even though it's very chaotic at this time with so many people looking at things from all sides. But you got to remember, that's what the universe wants. The universe wants to see everything from every possibility. They want to see it from every fractal of possibilities to see every situation. So we're all here as now I kind of see it like like a spider or a fly, and they have all of these eyeballs. And so all of these eyeballs for to see the experience of what is going on, and it reflected back into the universe's knowledge. And so when we watch different things play out, you don't want to be shaming these people, because they have a significant role to the universe to show from these different perspectives. And so everything is the right thing. There is no wrong in this. In everything is about experience and about the knowledge of experience. But see, you don't really get the purest knowledge without all of the different ways of looking at it. That's how science and labs work. It's like when they try something, it's like, okay, well, it worked with this, but what do we do this? Well, what do we do that? Well, what if we put this over here and we put that over there? What does it do then? So it's like we got to try it from every single possibility to really get what it really is. And that's what we all are in the micro macro of learning and growing and seeing from all perspectives. So all the different eyes out there are to show the universe every possibility of how to look at something. So we don't want to be, thinking, well, my perspective is better than your perspective. You're an idiot. That's not that's not how the universe looks at it. Then the universe will look at you as more of, you got work to do, because you shouldn't be shaming others. You shouldn't be thinking that you're better than others, because every perspective has just as much value. The way I look at things is just as valuable as, somebody who's looking at it completely opposite. Their perspective is just as valuable to, if you want to think about the watchers, the ones of all knowledge, the ones that hold the knowledge. And so, we are bringing in our bit of knowledge, our bit of perspective. We're bringing it to the table so it can be consumed into the universe of the pot of gold, the vastness of all things to know. And everything is to be known, because each person is a different influence over through their perspective. So you have to see it from every possible direction in order to see it fully. And so so that's what, all these different things happening is it's to bring it all, to be able to see it from all different directions. And that's what the universe feeds off of. That's what the universe loves. And so that they definitely don't sit there, well, you're wrong, you're right, and you're wrong. Even though there's more positive things and more negative things, but they don't look at it as right or wrong. And everything has a consequence. Everything has the beginning has an ending. And so everything has a full circle. Another thing that's trippy too is, as souls, that we don't complete whole circuits sometimes in one life. Just like in that movie I was talking about the other day, where she just kept reliving, living each day as a different person. It was so good. I did leave the link to that movie in the comments too. But a lot of we go in and we do all these life cycles, but we don't always reach a completion. And that's what we are in right now, is a completion. And so that is because the completion is the bigger cycle. And we go in just like that girl going in and living all these different things, but we're at this time of completion of pulling it all together. And that's the sifting through the recognition of self, of what things that we need to break down in ourselves and what things that we need to work on to find our own balance, to be in the balance between like the ego drive and this other, the opposing force to the ego is this what is it? Because it's like emotions. It's like emotional. And so it's like inferiority complexes versus thinking you're better than other people. But the thing is, too, with the ego, it can also bring you into the dumps. I mean, it can make you feel beat down, but it's the opposing force inside of you. It's like the same thing of like what the indigenous people referred to as the the white wolf and the dark wolf, the two parts of you that are, it's the yin to the yang. It's the parts of you that develop who you are, and it's the light to the dark. But so many people right now are so out of balance. They've got so much dark, and in this world where we are around so much darkness, that darkness feeds into your storyline to keep you trapped in the dark. And that's why you got to overcome so much of this negative so much of this negativity and so much of this communication. Just like that, the lady walks out and she said all of a sudden it's PORN right loud in her head. And she's like, what? Like, what are you trying to? But that's out there in the communication hotline, is that you are being lured, but it's your yearning, the things inside of you is how you are lured. And part of being able to recognize like you're trying to be lured, it helps you to find your balance, like, oh, I'm not going in that direction, I'm not going to do that, that's just going to suck me into the dark. And so it is this, when people are like, well, why is there a world? Why would God let things bad happen? Which is not just one God. Just gotta remember that. Is but people think that. Why would God, if there's a God, why would he let bad things happen? But it's not like there's a God up there who is just letting bad things happen to you. It is like you as a soul are going into experience the battle between finding yourself in the light and dark and making the choices to find yourself. And then the thing is too, is to move yourself out of judgment and think the dark is bad and the light is good, because you need both to exist. So you have both inside of you. So what the whole battle is really finding your balance, finding yourself and putting yourself in balance. And so, yeah, that's kind of trippy because the tire situation just happened and then them having to do the balancing and getting my car in alignment and stuff. Yeah, it's trippy how everything is like micro, macro. Like things that play out in your life are playing out in your life. They're there to like represent to you what it is that you are working on and what it is that you are developing. So anyways, but it is very much about the confirmation, the the journey to yourself, because that is a part of where you don't want to go into judgment of yourself, like, because there is a lot of that, like, I hate myself, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I did that, and stuff. But the thing too is that there's a lot of reasons why we do stupid shit, why we do things, and I think it's impossible to go through life and never hurt anybody. And one thing too is the people who interact with you, they sign up to be hurt by you. They sign up for those lessons. So, a part of the thing is forgiving yourself. And that's not to just, well, you signed up for it, so it's not my problem, because that shows who you are, and there has to be a part of forgiveness, and forgiving yourself for being stupid idiot, but also to to be sorry for the parts of who you have been, and who it's like everything is like such a fine balance, man. So everything is about, really getting yourself into equality of your balance, of being able to, in order to have the balance, you have to acknowledge the dark side, not demonize it, accept it, love those sides of yourself, and don't judge those sides of yourself. And that's a big part of this whole journey to learning how to love yourself, is letting go of your judgment on yourself and your bitterness. And then because it leads to blaming others and being a victim and feeling sorry for yourself. But that's why I say, once you can learn how to forgive yourself and love yourself, that's when you can start forgiving others and learning how to love everybody. Because you have to be able to forgive yourself and accept that we have a dark side. When we and it's natural. It's not something that, is bad. But the only thing is, in this world, that we have got a lot of people who've gotten way out of balance in their dark side. Like they would prefer to go out and get drunk and drink rather than to notice what's happening in the world and notice what's happening with their neighbor, to be there for each other. And so it's a self-indulgent. It's a self-indulgent denial to hide from the truth, to hide from experience, and to just engage or engulf in entitled uh, to go deeper into your problem area, but that just builds the dark. And like I've said, the dark is out there just, consuming you because we're surrounded by so much dark. And then when we have to look towards the light, and the light, when you look towards the light, people think you're wonky and think you're a wacko. It's like, if there's dark, there's light. And if you don't see the light, you got to go towards the light. So if you want to think like, well, I'm talking to the angels, I'm trying to get direction, then, so be it. Let people think like whatever they want to think. But you do, no matter what, you have to find the light in a place of darkness. And it definitely starts with this going in a new direction. And it is not, it's not a more spiritual person to say, like they have no darkness. It's like everybody's got darkness. Sorry. I know you want to focus on love and light and think that that's what you're made up of, but we all have darkness. And like I've said, we're at this period of time of completing a cycle. So we have to acknowledge our darkness in order to get the balance that we're looking for. And I think that has been a part of a lot of the new age spiritual movement thing, of the love and light situation, of to just be like, well, I'm ignoring that and I'm just looking at this. And that's why it's going to keep blowing up, because you have to see yourself as the whole, and you have to be in it and not judge yourself, not be thinking like you're a bad person because you've done stupid shit. People have called you a bad person before, and people think you're a narcissist or whatever. The whole thing is finding yourself, to find the balance of you, and then being comfortable. But it's also, it's a journey. It's just like when you're driving down the car, you can't just hold it like this and just stay going. The road turns, you have curves, you have hills. So that is life. And so in life, you are constantly finding balance. But that's why you have to spend time in reflection and meditation and finding yourself in communication with yourself. And because you have to be able to drive the vehicle, you have to be able to keep going and stay trying to find your balance all the time. Just because you find it one time doesn't mean it's just going to sit there. It's like, no, things happen in life that are going to keep pushing you to recalibrate, to be like, oh yeah, I got to get back in there. I'm gonna, find my balance all the time. And a lot of people, they get really frustrated with life. Like, why is it doing this to me? Well, it's so that you can become, a god. It's so you can become really good at what you're doing. It's like, it's for your benefit. It's not working against you. It's working with you. And so it's all through perspective. But we're going to see a lot of perspective change over this year. That's for sure. We're going to see a lot of people start to realize things that they didn't realize before. And so it's going to be a beautiful thing, even though there's going to be rough stuff that's going to happen. And, but I mean, just, seeing people go out and get the freedom after being so contained by these controllers for so long. People here in America at this point don't even realize how controlled they are. They're just breaking through little bits of like the control behind the time card, in the behind the economy and stuff. So it's you know, we haven't been so much, you know, well, we have in a sense been controlled by instigators and criminals and stuff like that. But anyways, there's more. There's way more to come. And the Dawn has even said some more things about, you know, he's about to take down a bunch of different people because of what they're involved with. And so there keeps being this one conversation. Well, it's not just one. There's a lot of conversation talking about the crimes and stuff going on. But then there's the other people who want to believe these other crimes that I think are made up in order to distract you from who really needs to be arrested. So it's you know, it's why it's a fucking, so much of it is about a show. But the people who are really sucked in, it is like because they've got something that's going to pop up that they haven't recognized in themselves yet. And so there's a lot that's still going to be playing out. And but I definitely did like that Atlas thing of being a consciousness of coming in to create change, and it comes in these waves, and it's bringing us in information to destroy and destruct our present story, the storyline that we have been stuck in. And so it's to cause a rift and to break things down. And that's what we're in this period of time. In the micro macro, you can see the breakdown in all these societies, because the stories are changing and the redirection. And so there is a huge force of us that is going to redirect and go into a positive timeline that is going to be about, you know, love. And but that doesn't mean that we are all like, I mean, we would all be beings that have a dark side too, but we just don't feed into it. And then we don't elevate ourselves into the light like we're better than everybody. We just are acknowledged as to who we are as a unique, authentic person. And we have value to the universe because through our eyes, they get a whole structured scene, a view of what life is. And so it's, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And that's where we have to recognize the beauty from our experience and what we bring to the table to the universe. And being true to ourselves and being authentic is really the payoff. It's the gift that we get from finding our balance. And you got to, in order to be authentic and be comfortable with yourself, you have to appreciate yourself. You have to accept yourself. And so you have to accept all parts of yourself. And so that's the goal. And then once, you know, a lot of people have reached that goal, at the same time, the rest of the world's going to keep blowing and blowing. And then we're going to begin to rebuild a new world where there's going to be a lot of good technology, like a lot of hidden things from us that are going to make big changes. And so in our health and the way we move around, the way we travel, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be changing and make our lives a lot easier and not so cumbersome, not so many obstacles of having to overcome, you know, just to go visit your family. You know, you got to go over here, get over there, go over there. And it's just like all the fucking bullshit. You know, it's going to be a lot more direct contact, a lot more, you know, getting here and getting there and getting around, and our health is going to improve. So there's going to be a lot of really positive things coming our direction. But the current time, we are in the period of time of everything falling apart. And so, you know, if you know, whatever's, if you don't have a lot of things falling apart in your life, then, you know, you are possibly there to be you know, a shoulder for somebody else whose life is falling apart, a positive influence, somebody who tells them, hey, everything's going to be okay, you're okay, don't be so hard on yourself. And you know, just keep moving in that positive direction, bringing more of that positive energy, positive light to our collective, so that we can all start coming together to get back to being this beautiful thing that we have come here to become, to create. And so, anyways, it's to me, there's lots of good stuff going on. And we'll see. Now it's Monday. We'll see what comes to the table today. But however you're affected, that's where you just got to go deeper. You know, and there's people who stop trusting. Like, oh, there's no plan. There's bullshit. And that's parts of them that they have to see. And so there's going to be things that are going to keep happening. So you get to see all these different sides of yourself, and whatever it is that you are stuck in the storylines, that is a part of your ride. It's a part of your, getting to see these sides of yourself. So anyways, there's, you're multifaceted. You are also the eyes of all the different facets. Everything is micro, macro. Everything is representative of everything else. It's like this bleed out of these different things. So anyways, the more perspective you can gain, it's just the same way as the universe grows from more perspective. We grow from more perspective. And I think that has something to do with our dreams and stuff right now. It's an experience to show you more, to get more perspective. Everything's about getting more perspective all the time. That's what I think. So anyways, but tomorrow morning I will still come back and talk about whatever the hell happens today. And then in the afternoon, we will go live for a little while. And then Thursday we will, and Saturday. So we'll start out with that, and we'll see what happens, what grows from it. But yeah, the TikTok one is absurd. And I knew, it's, if you will just sell products for them all day, that they will push your videos through. That's why, video after video after video is somebody selling you something on there. Because now they've even lowered it. It used to be like 10,000. You had to have 10,000 people, followers, but now it's 1,000. You got 1,000 followers. Come on, join the program. And then otherwise, you have to get up to 100,000 views a week. And you can't have repeat viewers. So you have to be like going viral every week. And then they push through certain videos. So that's why, a lot of people will go watch somebody do something really weird and wacky. Somebody like the girl who sits and farts and poops in public and stuff like that. People will be like, what? Is she really doing that? Watching the video, and she's getting paid for, doing wacky stuff. But things are going to be changing. Things are going to be changing. And when you are out there doing videos trying to talk about real stuff, your videos just sit on a shelf. And so, and I've gone in and seen some of these people like, oh, I make money. And then I've gone in and looked at their viewer thing. It's like, you only, like my videos, like I got 45,000 people on there that follow me, and I get like 200 views on a video. And then you got somebody who's got 1,000 followers, and then they're getting like 200, 400 views. But still, that's not adding up to 100,000. They're still, when they're making money, they have to sell shit. So you have to be selling products. It's just like an advertise. TikTok is just an advertisement with videos in between. So anyways, we'll see how the YouTube thing goes. But we may still go live, because I did get, I can go live on TikTok. So we may add that in too and do some lives on there. Just for kind of fun and community, because there's so many people out there who are just like looking and they don't know where to find things, and people are waking up, and then it's helpful when other people who are awake are in the comments, and you can talk to the people who are struggling and stuff. So it's just a way to it is time where everything is very chaotic and crazy, to try and bring some like peacefulness to the table and get more people to interact with each other and build a community of stability, really, of helping people find their stability, find their footing in all of this chaos, because so many people are lost. Like, there's so many people who think this is the end of the world. It's like, well, it's the end of something. Some stuff that we would like to end, so it's a good thing, really. So anyways, But, you know, how to focus, you know, making sure you're focusing on learning how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, learn how to have the day you want to have, because that is, you know, when you're at a time where there's completing a circuit, then that's what you want to do, is it's a completion time. So, anyways, but we'll see what happens today, and then we'll talk about it in the morning, and then I'll also talk to you later in the afternoon. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.